This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Today's show is being brought to you by Crawford's Barbecue Pit Products. Check out their complete line of awesome barbecue products over at crawfordsbbq.com. Today's show is a doubleheader, originally aired June 15 in 2010. You've heard the name before, Looft of Looft Lighter. Mr. Richard Looft is in to talk to Greg. It's an amazing product. I think you're going to enjoy it. Here it is from June 15th, 2010. Greg and Richard Looft.
You know, look, Centralites, I think we can all agree that the majority of us who are really into this barbecue and grilling thing would rather not have to use lighter fluid to get our fires going. There are better options out there, and my next guest is going to be talking about his product that will eliminate the need not only for lighter fluid, but your propane weed burners as well, which is how I first, that's how I light my fires at this point. So let's go ahead and race over to the hotline. We're going to go ahead and actually go international for this segment, all the way from Sweden. Its creator, president of the Looft Lighter, Richard Looft, joining us here on the Barbecue Central Show. Richard, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining me.
I'm fine. How are you?
Man, I am outstanding, and I certainly appreciate you making time for the show here. I know we're a little bit different as far as hours. I'm here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland. And where are you exactly in Sweden?
I'm in the south of Sweden. We're having a demonstration of the Luftleiter in south of Sweden. So it's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Obviously, you're someone that actually likes to light up the fire and enjoys the rewards of a finely grilled meal. And at some point, you're obviously unhappy with the options of lighting your fire. And so this is probably how the Luftleiter came to your mind. But how did it actually hit you?
Well, I lived in America when I was a boy. My father worked in Pittsburgh, so I was there from 67 to 69 in Pittsburgh and learned how to barbecue. And one day I made a whole chicken, and it looked perfect. I did everything correct with the lighter fluid and with the chicken, and it looked fantastic. And we sat down, and I was very, very proud. And when we were eating it, it tasted of lighter fluid. So we had to throw it away and buy pizza instead.
So, I mean, are you somebody that's got a like an engineering type background, or somebody that's creative, or are you in a completely different field altogether?
I mean, I was in a complete... My father was a nuclear engineer, and my mother actually worked at the Swedish Inventors Association. But I was in the theater business. I was working as a theater director, so I was not in the barbecue business. But I got angry that night at the lighter fluid, and I thought, this is so absurd. You put petrol into when you're cooking. So I thought there must be a better way. So I took our bread toaster and I poured charcoal into our bread toaster. And we had an old vacuum cleaner we had a small boat, and we had an old vacuum cleaner where you could change the airstream. So it was blowing air instead of inhaling. Mm-hmm. So I took that vacuum cleaner and changed the airstream, and I put it down the bread toaster. And I realized it was perfect to light it, because the charcoal got ignited very, very quick. And the charcoal turned white and ready to use in just a couple of minutes.
Were you looking just to develop something for personal use, or did you know once you kind of had that rudimentary thing figured out that this is something you were going to chase after and try to bring to market eventually?
No, I had no idea, actually. I was at the Royal Dramatic Theatre in Stockholm, and I was working with a Swedish director called Ingmar Bergman, who made many films. And so we were working together, and I was directing on different theatres. And And I was just doing this for myself, but I got so mad at the lighter fluid. And then I started investigating and realized that people were using lighter fluid so much. So this was only for myself from the beginning.
When you actually came out with that first original unit, how many revisions did you have to go through and testing and all that stuff to go from, initial unit to one that you felt confident enough to take to the market?
Oh, it took time. First, I was just doing this for myself, but then my friends started asking me and said, "Oh, you should produce this," but I had no idea how to do this. And then I developed it during the years. This was maybe 15 years ago. I did my first prototype. And so I made it better and better. And after a couple of years, I asked my mother, who is the best one in the Inventors Association? And she said this and this person. So we went there and took a cup of coffee, and I ignited the grill outside. And they said, "This is perfect. This is very, very good. We will help you. We will help you in this project only if you put 100% into this. You cannot direct theater and do this on the side. You will never succeed." So it was quite difficult, just to stop directing and having a family and everything, know. But a couple of years went by. I met some businessmen who had some money, and I showed them my prototype, and they said, "Wow, this is very good." So we started a company together 5 years ago.
We're talking to Richard Looft. He is the creator and president of Looft Lighter. You can find out more about that product, Looft with a T at the end. LooftLighter.com is the website to check that out. Richard, you exhibited at the HPB Expo in Orlando earlier this year to launch the product here in the States, which is actually where one of my embedded reporters, Dennis Cobb, found you. He was very taken with the product right from Jump Street. But from your perspective, how well did that particular event go from you, and how well was the product received?
To put in your request for a future show, please contact John Solberg via email at johnjon@thebbqcentralshow.com.
Hey, before we get into the second segment, let me take a minute to tell you about Crawford's Barbecue Pit Spritz. Pit Spritz is all natural and gluten-free. Pit Spritz keeps your meat super moist during the cooking process. The Peach Pit Spritz adds an amazing sweet peach taste to your barbecue. It's great on all meats, and it does exceptionally well on pork. All you need to do is screw the included trigger sprayer onto the 16-ounce bottle, and you're ready to go. Get all the details on Crawford's Pit Spritz. Head on over to crawfordsbbq.com. Be sure you use the coupon code GREG at checkout. You will save 10% off your entire order. That's Greg, G-R-E-G.
From your perspective, how well did that particular event go from you, and how well was the product received?
We were there 6 weeks ago or something, and it was our introduction into the U.S., and we were so happy and actually very humbled. The people were so very nice and very enthusiastic, and we felt very, very welcome.
Now, just to give folks an idea of what this unit looks like, and you can go ahead and correct me if I'm a little off base here, Richard, but it's kind of similar in shape to what a woman's hair curling iron might look like. Not overly bulky, kind of straight in form, but more importantly than the stylish good looks, why don't you tell us how the Looft lighter actually works?
Yeah, it's superheated air. It's a combination of a bread toaster and a vacuum cleaner, actually. So you just touch it with the tip. You hold it in your hand, and you touch the charcoal with the tip of the Looft lighter, and you press the button. In a couple of seconds, it starts to spark, and the sparks are not dangerous. And when it starts to spark, you just pull it slightly away and continue towards the same spot. And there is a fan inside, so it blows the glow into the center of the pile of charcoal. So if you want to wait, as usual, 20-30 minutes for the charcoal to turn white, you just use the Looft lighter for 60 seconds. Then you have ignited the pile of charcoal. But if you don't want to wait, you just continue. And when pushing the oxygen, the flow of air into the pile of charcoal, it makes the pile white and ready to cook in a couple of minutes.
We're talking with Richard Looft, creator and president of the Looft Lighter. Again, looftlighter.com. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the introduction here, I currently use a weed burner. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but that's what I'm currently using to light my charcoal grills. And I know there are listeners out there who use a charcoal chimney with some type of lighter cubes or starter sticks. Mm-hmm. Why would someone consider, who's listening tonight, a Looft lighter in lieu of the items previously mentioned?
Because when using lighter fluid or the small white things, you always get the chemicals into your food. And so that is not very good. And when using the weed burner, when using it, you always have to have gas, and gas is not quite safe, I think. I'm a little bit scared. The Looft lighter is electric. It's very, very safe. There's no flame. You don't need any chemicals. You always have it at home. It's always ready to use. So it's very simple, and it's very, very fast.
Now, being a sales guy by profession myself, I always appreciate a good story on how folks get their products to market initially. And from what I've read, you have one of the best stories going out there that I've seen in quite a while. Can you tell us about how you actually got stores initially to buy these units back in 2005?
Yeah, I got the first container to Stockholm in 2006. And I was very, very happy, and I was very, very proud. And I called the high-end shops in Stockholm, the best design shops, the best hardware shops, and I told them I'm a theater director, and I have invented a barbecue lighter. And they just hang up. They didn't want to meet me. They got so they weren't interested at all. So I thought, okay, I have 5,000 Looft lighters, what to do? I thought, okay, I have 5,000 Looft lighters, what to do? So I took my Weber grill and I put it on the street outside the best shop. And I called in again to the purchaser and I told her, I'm outside your shop. I want you to come out. It will take 60 seconds. You don't have to buy it, but actually you have to come out because I want to show you. And she laughed and she came out and I showed her and she bought directly out on the street. And then I went to the next shop and everyone bought it when I showed it. And I went to the newspapers and I had called the biggest magazine in Sweden, the best, and they didn't want to meet me. So I took my grill and I called her with my cell phone, and I told her, okay, I'm outside your the newspaper house, and if you look out the window, do you see me? And she looked out and she saw me, and I said, okay, are you coming down? Okay, I'm coming. And she came down and I showed her, and she said, oh, fantastic. Can I write 2 times about it? She asked me. So it started that way.
Richard, what's the attack at, taking the typical American mindset? Who cares about anything else in the world? We're just concerned about us. So how is distribution going to be set up, or how are you going to be attacking the U.S. market in order to get these in the hands of the consumer?
We have a North American manager, Sinjin Wiles, who takes care of North America. And it has worked in Sweden and in Scandinavia and in some other countries to start with very good shops, very good where they know how to barbecue, where they can show how it works, where they can talk about it. And from there, we can go major and volume. But it's very important to find these people who are dedicated to barbecue and and if they like it, it's much, much easier to find the bigger distribution. All
right, so the thing on everybody's mind is going to be barbecue-wise and grilling-wise. How much does this unit cost?
It costs $79.95.
People are going to go, wow, that seems kind of like a steep price tag for something that's going to light your fire, when I could go out and buy some starter cubes, or I could obviously use lighter fluid or the weed burners. So what's how do you overcome the price or the sticker shock that you might encounter initially?
When people see how it works, they don't think it's expensive, and it is a quality product, and it's meant to last for many years, and you can use it both indoors for the fireplace or log fire, and outdoors. So when people learn this and see how fast they get the charcoal going and that they don't get any chemicals in their food and all these things, the price has not been any problem, actually.
All right, so a lot of value added in to the cost of the Looft lighter. Again, $79.95, and you can go to Amazon.com and do a search on Looft lighter. ThinkGeek.com has them as well. So Richard, sounds like you're off to a great start here in the States, and I wish you continued success in your journey. Thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, there he is. Richard Looft from the Looft lighter.
And that was Richard Looft from Looft Lighter. It's amazing. The Looft Lighter is $79 today. I believe that's what it was back in 2010. That's a great value. Hey, do me a favor. Head over to CrawfordsBBQ.com. Check out their complete awesome line of barbecue pit products. Make sure you use the coupon code GREG at checkout, GREG, 10% off your entire order. Until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.